snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys! So I am here today to do a book review, and the book that I'm going to be reviewing is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. The idea for this book originally was thought up by Siobhan Dowd, and then after she died, Patrick Ness took over the concept and idea, and he wrote his own story based off of her idea and giving his own spin to it. It's a really interesting story because it's kind of a children's story, but it's got adult themes within it, and it's also illustrated, which is always awesome, so that's very cool. I read this as part of the TBR Takedown readathon, and let's get into what it's all about. So the story of the book focuses on a young boy called Connor. He's a schoolboy, he's living with his mother, who is a single mother, and the two of them got on pretty well, but his mother has something wrong with her, and we're not explicitly told what. Together they are a nice little family until things start to go wrong with his mum, and he doesn't really know exactly what's happening with her, and she hasn't really told him anything about what's going on with her. So he kind of believes it's all fine, but of course things are not quite as fine as they seem, or as fine as she is making them out to be. I found this book to be very fairy tale-esque because even though it's a story about a young boy with a mum with something wrong with her, some sort of illness, it actually has a lot of fairy tale-esque and fantasy-esque ideas, and there's a character in this who is definitely fantastical. There are 3 different stories that are told within this, and each of those stories felt very fairy tale-like, and I really enjoyed the 3 stories. I thought they were really good and they really got me hooked into it, but the overall story of Connor and his mother didn't interest me as much as I think it was meant to. The good thing about the magical stories, or the stories that are involving the magical character, those stories kind of have deeper themes to them. They kind of question humanity and they question humankind as a whole, and I really like the fact that they make you think a little bit deeper about humanity. I found the writing style really easy to get into. I do like Patrick Ness's Chaos Walking series, so I thought it would be easy to get into this one, and it was. The story sort of started off kind of slow but built up gradually, and that meant that over the course of the book, slowly I was getting more and more interested, and by the ending of the book I was definitely interested and hooked into it. And I think that the combination of Patrick Ness's good writing style that was really flowing and easy, and Jim Kay's absolutely stunning artwork was what really made this book for me, because if it hadn't had the illustrations, and I think you can buy an edition without the illustrations, then I don't think it would have been as good for me, because the illustrations really made it and gave it this ethereal, kind of darker tone, more somber tone, because they're all in black and white, whereas I think just reading it, it wouldn't have had the same effect on me and it wouldn't have been quite as interesting. So I definitely would recommend the illustrated version if you guys are planning on picking this one up. The artwork is very textural, it's very silhouetted, there's a lot of loosely structured images that could be a certain thing but they might not be, so it's kind of open to your own impression a lot of the time, and I really enjoyed that about it. I think it was definitely the perfect representation of the internal struggles that our main character is going through. I felt like the artwork just fitted really well with the themes of the book, and it made you think a bit deeper, as I said before. On the whole, I would say that this is definitely a somber tale, but it does have fantasy elements that were interesting and kept me reading it through. It kind of feels a little bit more like a contemporary with kind of fantastical elements added in, but I think the illustrations kind of compromise that and give it a more dark adult tone. So I don't know if I'd class this as a children's book or an adult's book. I'd say probably like anywhere between them you could read it, but the illustrations give it a darker feeling and a darker tone. On the whole, I did really enjoy this. I think it was a very well written book and it was easy to get through. It's quite short and I felt like it was fast and the illustrations brought it more to life for me, so I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. I would have liked to see a bit more of the fantasy side of things, but obviously it's not intended as a pure fantasy story. It definitely has these contemporary thought-provoking side of it. So on the whole, it was a good read. I did enjoy it. I would recommend it if you guys are interested in picking it up, but again, as I said, the illustrated version I think would be better. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know that some people absolutely adore this book. I didn't quite get to the level of adoration, but I did like it a lot, so please do leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you all very soon in another video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little chat about the